Alice has this unique ability to connect with every person she meets.
And I think it's just her passion gets people to move along with her, and then her leadership allows people to take that job and do it.
There are people who sit up in the bleachers and watch the three people who always do everything do the work, and Alice is one of those people. She doesn't talk about it. She's here, she's there, she's over here. Is this okay? What's going on over here? Can you help me over here? And she's kind of funny to watch, but thank God for people like that, because she does get that awareness going. She does get people involved.
And she's just tremendous with her outreach. She lives, breathes, sleeps the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness, and I thank God for Alice every day because she has truly impacted our lives personally. She's just a phenomenal force.
For her leadership and accomplishments on behalf of the celiac community in 2010, Alice Bast is being honored with this year's Philadelphia Award.
I'm just honored and delighted, and I actually cried when they told me I had the award. Edward Bach created this award because he wanted to make sure that Philadelphia was a thriving community, a prosperous community, and a happy community. And in order to be happy, you need to be well. And when you go on a gluten-free diet, we have the solution.
Not long ago, many people had not heard of a gluten-free diet, nor did they know it was the key back to health for those with celiac, a genetic autoimmune disease that can lead to an intolerance or allergy to gluten protein, which is found in wheat, rye, and barley. As founder and president of the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness, Alice and her many partners inspired chefs, physicians, business people, and policymakers to make Philadelphia the first gluten-free community.
A teenager who has celiac disease cannot go out and hang out with their friends. They cannot go out to a pizza place unless there's awareness, unless you worked with the restaurant. So I think from my standpoint, it's her big contribution with getting the restaurants and getting celiac disease in on the map for people to really talk about it.
Alice is so powerful. Are you kidding? When she wants something, she get it. She came to see me. She wanted me to participate on the fundraising, and also she wanted me to really thinking about the celiac and change my menu. So we look at these things, and I agree, because I could not say no to Nate, because it's difficult to say no to somebody who doesn't take no for an answer.
Alice attended the University of Pennsylvania and worked for over 20 years in business development and sales management for the medical industry. But she had a personal history with celiac that changed her life.
For 8 long years, I thought I was dying of cancer. I had a full-term stillborn child, 3 miscarriages, and then a 2-pound baby. My hair was falling out, my teeth were starting to break. I had constant symptoms of migraine headaches, and when I went to the doctor, they would give me a prescription for medication, so they treat the symptom rather than the underlying cause. So I went from doctor to doctor and met with 23 doctors to try to uncover what was wrong with me. And a friend of mine who is a veterinarian actually mentioned that it might be the food that I'm eating that's causing my sickness. Doctor number 23 diagnosed me with celiac disease. That's why I'm so passionate to help 1 million people get diagnosed. 1 in 133 people have celiac disease, but unfortunately 95% are still undiagnosed and needlessly suffering. That's why we created the symptom checklist.
The checklist is just one of many educational tools of the foundation, which Alice started in 2003.
What it took to start the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness was a lot of passion, creativity, but you can't do this alone. I was really fortunate to have a dedicated board of directors, dedicated employees, a family that supported me, but most of all, 2 people have been very influential in my life. One was Ed Snider, chairman of Comcast Spectacor. Ed Snider suffered needlessly for celiac disease for 50 years, and he went on a gluten-free diet, and it restored his health and helped him reclaim his life. And Dorothy Binswanger. She's a civic leader. Dorothy is one of my best friends and a board member of the NFCA.
The foundation raises awareness about celiac, provides patient and healthcare services and informational resources, facilitates research, and has an accredited continuing medical education program.
So our goals are to get the doctors to recognize the signs and symptoms of celiac disease. We also have a continuing education program for pharmacists, and we really are pushing the access to gluten-free food. We want to double the marketplace in the next 3 years. We've done that in the past 3 years, so that, again, where we live, where we work, where we play, people can have affordable, available gluten-free food.
Alice's personal campaign and that of the National Foundation of Celiac Awareness to make gluten-free products available and affordable to all customers aligns perfectly with our Walmart strategy. Whether it is through our efforts around sustainability, fighting hunger, ethical sourcing, or meeting the needs of the underserved celiac community, it is through partnerships with leaders like Alice Bast that make it all possible. She's created an awareness and energy that has moved an industry and positively impacted so many lives. Her personal passion and story are an inspiration to us all.
As an expert on celiac, Alice has co-authored studies and abstracts and was principal investigator for a grant she received from the National Institutes of Health.
If we could diagnose children with celiac disease when they're about 1, 1.5, 2, we might be able to prevent other diseases and maybe even cut down on type 1 diabetes, because it's another autoimmune disease. So we've talked about this now, I think, 6 years in terms of how we need to put things together so that we can have a study done. I mean, unless we do a study, no one will support us.
One of the celiac community's most exciting and well-attended events is the Appetite for Awareness, which brings together Philadelphia chefs and doctors in a cook-off event and cooking demonstrations of gluten-free foods.
We realized that we needed to make sure that every hospital in the Philadelphia area, and actually every hospital nationwide, took an interest in celiac disease. So we partnered doctors and chefs together. So famous chefs like George Perrier and Jose Garces were partnered with some of our physicians from the hospitals in the local area. And we actually had about 1,500 people attend the event in Philadelphia, and it's been replicated around the country.
Marc Summers, Food Network host and television celebrity, was a host of Appetite for Awareness.
I really didn't know much about celiac disease in any way, shape, or form. And in that one night, I got such a inundation of knowledge that my head was spinning. My assumption was this was going to be horrible food, and it wasn't. It was fantastic. So it shows that I learned a lot, and you could have great food and also make the public aware and solve a problem all in one evening.
Everybody is so passionate, and I think it's wonderful. I wish my people who cook in my kitchen were as passionate as the people who are fighting these days, because their passion is so immensely. It's really refreshing to see that. So I was happy to do this. I have a great time doing it there. Everybody loved it. It was wonderful, but of course we did something very light, very wonderful.
Is that enough? Do you want some cheese crackers? Yeah.
The Yadgorov family shares a healthy, gluten-free lifestyle with their son Daniel, who has celiac.
This disease is very difficult to diagnose, or at least it was very difficult to diagnose at the time that we were trying to find out what was wrong with our 3-year-old son. He was painfully thin, tired all the time, no energy, did not like to eat, and was not growing.
You have this child who's not growing. You're stressed about that. You have the doctors telling you that mommy's either too involved in mealtime or not involved enough. It's ripping your heart apart. And they suggested that he be tested for severe food allergies because they couldn't find anything wrong with him. So we walked into an allergist in Wynwood, just an old school doc, and he looked at our son and he said, "I'll test him for whatever you want, but this kid's got celiac disease."
And we said, "What's celiac disease?" We had never even heard of it before. And he said to us, you know, it's an autoimmune disease, it's an intolerance to gluten. He said, "I'll bet you anything your kid has celiac disease."
He said, "Look at him. He's got matchstick arms and legs, distended belly, no tush, bad coloring. Bet you he's got waxy stools." And we said, "Yeah." He goes, "This is classic." The magical part is that he was always lethargic and tired. We went gluten-free on a Friday night, and by Sunday he was a different child. He had energy. He had enthusiasm for life. His desire to eat was good. He grew 25% of his height and weight in the first 12 months. I mean, it's a different child. The transformation was amazing.
Sometimes it's hard when like I see my friends and other kids eating other kinds of foods, and like sometimes I feel like I want to eat them, but like I don't, because I know that I'll get sick, and I'd rather just eat what I know I can eat that tastes good and not get sick.
When he was first diagnosed, the volume of gluten-free food out there was not as great as it is today.
I just found out that Tasty Cake is going to make gluten-free cookies.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
Awesome.
I know.
Today, the Edgaroffs find many more delicious gluten-free foods as the food industry has become aware of this growing market.
It's getting better and better thanks to the foundation and Alice's work. I know that it's because she has gotten the word out, because things have changed radically. In Philadelphia, we couldn't go out to eat with our son. There was nowhere that we felt safe that he wouldn't have cross-contamination from the restaurant kitchen. And now there are so many restaurants where they've done gluten-free training through the NFCA, and it has made such a difference in the quality of his life and our life as a family, because we can go out to dinner now.
The Edgaroffs are representative of families that learn to manage the disease, because Daniel is thriving. He can be the best kid that he can be because he's on a gluten-free diet. But for every Daniel that's out there, there are millions of people still lacking diagnosis. It takes the average person 10 years to be diagnosed. We know the solution. They just need to know about it.
Through Alice Bast's tireless work to align the public, medical, and business communities with the National Foundation for Celiac Awareness, the people of Philadelphia with celiac and across America will one day enjoy healthy, gluten-free lives.
I'll share a personal little thing about my daughters. I have two daughters, one with celiac and one not. One of them, we were sitting with my nieces and having a family sort of discussion, and what did she want to do when she grew up? She wanted to be Alice Bast. Not her mom, but I wanted to be Alice Bast. And you know, I think that that's basic, she inspires that.
We have succeeded and touched so many lives because of Alice's dedication, her leadership, and her vision.
What Alice and the NFCA has given to my family, I can never repay.
I want to thank Alice for helping me and my family and giving us good information and tips and just making our lives better.